Hey everybody, this is Tommy
This is
Nash,
Gigabit Gaming.
and this is Guest Podcast where we talk about gaming, esports, streaming, and technology. Episode 11.
We got a
We got
special
a
guest. Yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Pistola from TCB, the Chop Boys. Yeah, you can definitely talk a bit more about him though. So you know what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, so we're gonna be talking with Pistola. His real name's Sebaniel. It's not really Sebaniel, that's just what I call him. His real name's Seb, and we're going to be talking to him in the esports section of the podcast. So more to come there. It's going to be a great time. You're going to want to listen to this. But first off, we got the gaming news section one of the day. We're going to start off with Genshin Impact. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game or not. It's been
Oh
kind of
yeah.
sweeping social media as of lately, but it won. Oh, just moved my whole computer. It won Apple and Google Play's best mobile game of 2020. That's huge.
So my Hoyo's Genshin Impact, the massive free-to-play action role-playing game, recently came out on top of Apple's and Google's official Game of the Year list. For those of you who don't know what Genshin Impact is like, it has serious Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild looks and feels. Although this game is free-to-play, players have overspent tons of money on the gacha, trying to get special
Gotcha.
characters. This game is also available on PC and console. So I personally don't play it. I have a handful of friends who do play it. I don't know a ton about it. I really, not that I'm against mobile gaming personally, but like, oh man, like I get home and I sit on my computer and play games. Like if I got games on my phone that I'm hooked on, oh my god, I'm playing games everywhere, dude. Like I need to have a break from games. Like I already got a couple on my phone that I like to play to kill some time. You get too many going, and it's
Clash
like, oh my
Royale.
god, I haven't played that in months. I quit that because that's just it's like drugs. Like you don't want that. Mr. Auto Fire is actually my game of choice right now. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's actually really fun. It's like a
I haven't.
platformer. The game like aims and shoots for you, so all you gotta do is worry about dodging, which is like kind of a neat mechanic.
Yeah,
So it's really based on movement. It's a really fun game. But anyways, yeah. Have you played Genshin Impact or?
I have. So I tried it on PC, and if it was a game, or like if I were to sit down and like honestly concentrate on playing this game, I would enjoy it a lot. But there's just so many other games that I'd rather be playing right now that I mean, I gave it an overall like an hour's worth of my time, and it was a good time, but it's just not exactly in my interest right now. And the fact that this game runs amazing, I have an iPhone 11. I gave it a test download on there and tried it out. It runs just as good as it does on my PC, like 60 frames, beautiful graphics, and I mean overall, it's just an impressive free to play game. Like we said, people do throw a lot of money at it because you can unlock certain characters using their like gachapon system, where it's basically like loot boxes and you just open them and oh maybe you get a really good character, 5 star or whatever it is. Um, and then I even tried it on the PS5 just to see how it ran, and I mean, well, it runs very well, looks very good. Um, it's overall just an amazing looking game, and it's free to play. So if you have the time and you want to get into like a RPG with co-op, I think there's up to 4 people allowed on this, and it's basically like a big open world and such. It's worth a shot. It's worth a try. I recommend at least giving it an hour's worth of your time to see how you like it. Very like anime styled, so if you're into that kind of stuff as well, I mean, it'll you probably already know about it and play it.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
but I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of that stuff, but I still enjoy the game. Still a good game.
I worry about like, is it? Do you need to spend money to have a good time? 'Cause that's my issue with a lot of free to play games. Is like the progression is just so slow unless you put some cash into it.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to spend any money to enjoy this game. Um, I think there is a grind. I don't think it's like pay to progress quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you get like double XP or something like that maybe. But I think it's all basically characters, and I mean the characters all have their own special abilities and everything, so you see someone running around with a like sick character and you're like, "Damn, how do you get that?" "Oh, I got to pay money to unlock them."
Yeah, that sucks.
That being said, I'm not exactly sure if there's free ways to get these gacha spins or whatever to get your own loot boxes.
I'm sure
I
there's got
feel,
to be something in there to get the same as the paid players.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Uh,
Um,
we can.
Besides that, I
Yeah.
mean, let's move on to the next topic
Yeah,
here.
so we got Fortnite Season 5 brings Bounties and the Mandalorian. So after the battle with Galactus during a huge Fortnite event, which shut down Fortnite for 8 hours, and Twitch as well, Chapter 2, Season 5 has arrived. There are big map changes, new systems, and characters. Characters are now around the island that you can complete tasks for and buy weapons off of. They can even fight alongside you. Bounties and quests arrive, which will earn you bars, a special in-game currency. These bars can be used to buy new exotic weapons, upgrades, intel services, and more. So, I don't play Fortnite, I don't really know much about it, but I mean, we gotta talk about this stuff. It is the biggest game in the planet, so, we gotta toss this stuff in here. You don't play it either, I don't think.
I always go off and on. I think last season I was like, yo, I'm buying the battle pass. I'm getting Iron Man. Like I'm gonna try to get to the very end. I don't even know if that was last season or the season before it or whatever. But I get like 20 tiers in and I'm just like, I hate this game.
This is so boring, I don't like
It's
it.
not that I hate it, but everybody's so good, you don't stand a chance
Hmm.
because these people haven't stopped playing. And I mean, this Galactus event that they had was, I mean, if you watch videos on it, it
It
was
looked cool, yeah.
honestly amazing.
Hmm.
Um, Actually turned your Fortnite game into like an arcade style shooter where you're flying around in a battle bus destroying all these droids to get to Galactus and blow them up. And then at the very end of the cutscene, I mean, it just said, "Come back in 8 hours for season 5." So that really hyped people up, and with season 5 coming out today, they honestly released a ton of new features. So if you're into the Fortnite scene, 100% worth checking out. If even if you're not into the Fortnite scene, it seems like this season has definitely upgraded. There's a lot of new features, and it seems like they even kind of brought some like Warzone features over because now there's like bounties and um, I mean, specifically bounties, because now you have to go hunt down specific players and you get currency if you beat them, and then you can go use this currency to get new items and weapons. So,
I worry about when you add all this almost fluff in that you kind of make the game less like a battle royale and more like drop in and do quests to get better weapons instead of like looting for them. You kind of take away from what battle royale came out to be, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'd have to play and get my own opinion, but
mhm.
you know what I mean though? Like it really is moving further and further away of like what battle royale started as, which was like drop into a map in a random spot and loot your way to victory.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, there's always that circle that's coming in and it's going to converge everybody into
Yeah.
one little area. So, you got time to do some things and run around the map and get rewards and better weapons, but in the end, it's just going to be that final circle you're fighting in, and it's going to feel like a battle royale all over. So, I mean, I'll probably check this out. I'll give it a try. Um, Probably won't play for too long because that's just how I am with Fortnite. Um, yeah, I mean, big season, big updates. What's the next? What we got next on the list here?
So, Nintendo thief jailed for 2017 hack and possessing images of child abuse.
This is
So
insane.
yeah, so 21-year-old Ryan Hernandez, who had been arrested in relation to the theft of stolen information, including pre-release information about the anticipated Nintendo Switch console, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. In 2016, Hernandez and a friend managed to obtain a Nintendo employee's credentials, which they used to then gain access to and download confidential Nintendo files related to its consoles and games. He was first caught in 2017 when his home was raided in 2019, 2 years later, looking for more information after further offenses had been committed. The FBI found storage drives containing not only thousands of confidential Nintendo files, but more than 1,000 videos and images of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct stored and sorted in a folder directory he labeled bad stuff. He'll be sent to a facility for inmates with cognitive challenges and will have to pay Nintendo $259,323 US for the costs caused by his conduct. So yeah, that's a pretty substantial fine. 3 years in prison. He's not gonna have a good time in prison. That's for sure.
No, I mean, as soon as you hear that they've had thousands of videos and images of minors, I mean, right there, you're screwed. I mean, one person hears about that, you're done.
This is similar to. It reminds me of when the original Xbox came out. There was a group of hackers at the time that were really into consoles and taking them apart and tinkering with them and stuff. And one time, this guy went to an electronics dump because he had some stuff that he wanted to take in. And while he was there, he was looking at the thrown out garbage, and he recognized an Xbox PCB that was in the dump. And when he went and picked it up and inspected further, he realized that it was a developer kit. These developer kits had special access to servers that regular people couldn't get on. So when you had a dev kit of an Xbox, it was completely unlocked, and you could access what was called, I think it was Developer Net or something like that at the time. It was like Xbox developer only servers that they could get on to put games on to let other developers from other studios test. And he found like dev kit after dev kit after dev kit, and he was selling them online for like $500-600 a kit. And this guy was raking in cash because back then, like if you had one of those, you were like king of the world. You were on there, you could play any game you wanted. There was even a time where when Halo 2 was coming out, they were on a server, and because they were on this server, and it was supposed to be developers only type thing, there wasn't really any security, on it. So they kept an open server with a game going, and they couldn't shut it down because they didn't have a way to close the server down while it was active. So they actually were able to keep open a lobby of Halo 2 and just play it like essentially an early alpha. Like really, it was really far before the game was ready to be released. And they could play it anytime they wanted. And eventually the law caught up to this group, and some of them faced some time. But overall, I think they I don't really think any of them would regret it from the stories that I've heard. So that's
I'm hoping this guy regrets just about everything that he did. So, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. This happened back in 2017 too. So
yeah.
It was a while ago.
Oh, it's a real shame that there's people like this that do this kind of stuff. I mean, it's one thing leaking Nintendo secrets, which is already bad enough. Like people put a lot of time and work into their intellectual property, and to just take it, like come on, man, like that's someone's years of work that now you're leaking online and potentially ruining someone's career over it. And then you have the whole child thing, which is obviously just horrible. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
On some brighter news, though, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator getting official VR support later this month. The game only came out a few months back, so this is really quick. December 22nd is the official release date of Microsoft Flight Simulator VR. Any VR headset, I think excluding PSVR, will work. And the VR version of the game is a free update available to anyone who currently owns Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's not a separate game. If you own Microsoft Flight Sim, you get the VR version too, which is sweet because I can't really think of a better game to put in virtual reality than a flight sim.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen any, but I would love to see some people's setups for this game that recently came out. Because I know like the older flight simulators, some people had some insane setups.
Well, just think of like the people that are really into racing sims. They're probably pretty into flight sims too. And you could definitely like mod up your setup. Like there's already stuff that exists to hook into the game to like simulate turbulence and everything. Like there's that in racing games. You turn the wheel and your chair moves type thing. And yeah, we're talking like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a setup like this. But if you're dedicated and you kind of have the cash to waste, spend on something you really want, go ahead. I mean, that's pretty killer.
I'm sure it's some people's hobbies and passions just to be able to, sit back and be a pilot, And with this VR support, that's a huge update for these people. I'm sure they're going to absolutely love that.
I mean, they trained pilots in the older Microsoft Flight Simulator games, and this new one is like pretty much real to life. So there's definitely going to be a lot of people that are trained in how to be a pilot playing this game, which is kind of insane to think. It's like, if you were playing COD to be a soldier type thing, you know what I mean? Anyways,
you could fly over your house in this game and go
Oh
to
yeah.
like specific islands. I know for when this game first came out, a lot of people were flying to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and they were all trying to land there, and
See what was there.
it's it's just crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to our interview now with Seb. That's gonna be very exciting. So we're gonna catch you there in like seconds.
All right, everybody, we're back with our guest, Seb Pistola Vera. He is the owner of TCB. This is the esports section of our podcast, and we thought that we would take our time to interview the owner of TCB, get to know him a little bit more, and get to know about the organization. So, Seb, how you doing? How you doing?
Boys, how you doing? Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate you guys having me. I know I was supposed to be here last week and then yesterday. Things came up, but we're finally here. Appreciate you guys having me.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show finally. And I mean, hey, I'm excited for this one. We're going to start off quickly with an interview question. Start by telling us your name, which I basically just said information about you, like what is your education and what do you do for a living right now?
Okay, my name is Sebastian, otherwise known as Pistola, as everybody knows. I'm 25 years old. I am a merchandiser, so a vendor, I guess you could say. And that's really it. I mean, I like the game, work, so that's all I could really like the basic information, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to go too deep into it.
No, I mean, you want my social security number? I just.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, so it's 1 4. All right.
That's all I need.
So tell us a little bit about the formation of TCB. For those of you who don't know, TCB is an organization, the Chop Boys. Great community, a lot of good people in there. It's basically like a family in my heart. I am also a content creator for TCB. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the formation of TCB. How did it start?
So the reason why I'm laughing is because like I've been waiting for somebody to ask me like this question during a podcast or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna be real honest with you. This is how it started. So basically, it was about 6 of us. So we started with 6 of us. We were playing COD one night, and we consistently kept playing COD every night. We weren't called TCB, so our original name was Most High PP Club. Literally, you ask any of the original 6 people in TCB, they will tell you TCB was never TCB. It was Most High PP Club. First thing, we would go into pubs matches. We'd play together. We were playing together every night for like 2 weeks. So then, if you guys know the other co-owner of TCB, his name is Bari, otherwise known as Scientific Alien. We used to sit in Discord every night, and we used to talk about like what we want to do with this. Like, do we want to take this up to like the next level? Do we want to continue just playing pubs every night, or what do we want to do with this? So we'd sit in Discord, we talk. We said, let's make this a reality. Like, let's make this an org. Like, let's do something with this. So we gathered everybody in like a group chat. We would jump on Discord, like, yo, let's do something. But the first order of business was Most High PP Club needs to go. Because if we want to be taken serious, if we want to do something with this, it can't be Most High PP Club. It's just not how it goes. So we had this room in our Discord called the Chop Room. So the Chop Room, basically, we would hang out there every night after our streams and we would chop it up. So basically talk about everything, whether it be our streams, our real life, anything went. And what happened in the Chop Room stayed in the Chop Room. So we put 2 and 2 together after a couple questions between everybody what we should name the Chop Boys, the Chop Room, the Boys, the Chop Boys. Chop Boys were born there. So from there on, it became what it is now. I mean, I'm super happy with where we are now. I believe we originated back in May. So it's only been a couple months, but we're having a great time. We ended up branching off to TCB Pink. It's just been awesome, and I'm loving every minute of it. I love the community. I love everybody in it, and it's just been an absolute blessing to be where we are now, just because it started from something so small, and now it's become this, and we're growing every day, and I'm absolutely loving every minute of it.
Awesome. So I was basically going to ask you how has it evolved up to this day, which you just answered basically.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add to that? Or
honestly, it became more family oriented as the time went. We weren't really looking to make an org just to like play with each other. It became more like a family style where like we brought you in. We're not bringing you into an org. We're bringing you into our family. So we play with you, but we want to know you. Like, we want to know who you are. We want to know when you're having a good day, when you're having a bad, like, we want to know. Like, it's not just about let's just play a game together. Let's just play this. Let's just play that. No, it became this, and as the days went on, we got a lot closer, and day by day, we're just growing, and I'm loving it. Um, I think other than that, it's really the same thing. We all just have the same goal. We want to grow together as a team, as a family. And like I tell everybody, whether it's in management, whether it's streamers, whether it's members, if one of us goes up, we're all going up. If one of us is down, we're all down. So it's never he's up here and I'm here. No, we're going up. All of us are up there. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
how I look at TCB and TCB Pink.
So that, I mean, that basically leads into my next question, which is, how does TCB Pink start?
TCB Pink started, honestly, and I'll be 100% honest with you. If you guys know Nursey was one of our biggest supporters from TCB off the rip. When I first met Nursey, I met her through Squirtle Squad, as many of you might know. I met Nursey through there. I think she came to my stream on my birthday stream. Her and Vin came into my stream on my birthday. And from there, we grew a relationship. You know, I became really close with Nursey. She introduced me to you, Tommy. She introduced me to Vin. She introduced me to a bunch of people. And Nursey was always like, I want to be a part of TCB. I want to be like, not directly stating it that she wants to be in it, but she stated that she was our biggest supporter. She loved us. She loved what we were doing. She loved what we were about. So I would talk with management. I'm like, listen, eventually I want to make a female branch to us. You know, I don't want it just males. I mean, I understand it's called Chop Boys, but you could work around it. You can make it work. So we would talk all the time, and I'm like, listen, let's do this. You know, she started streaming, I believe, July or August, and her streams were doing well. You know, but even if they weren't, we knew that we wanted Nursey on our team just because of the amount of support, the amount of love that she gave us, not just me, the entire team. Whether she knew them the way she knew me or not, you know, she was still in there. She was supporting, she was showing love, and we knew she would be the best fit for TCB Pink. And we knew to start TCB Pink, we needed a strong, I guess, like a pillar to really start it up and just get the ball rolling. So that's how Pink really started, was because of Nursey.
Awesome. So I mean, do you feel like there's any issues with creating a subdivision such as TCB Pink, or are you like completely optimistic that TCB Pink and TCB can each grow independently but at the same time?
I mean, there's always going to be the pluses. There will always be minuses. The way I look at it, it doesn't create problems for us. I believe it creates more of a ground for us to grow. It gives us a different audience to reach. For example, we have streamers who have Rocket League who are their mains, or they have Call of Duty who are their mains, and Nursey plays Rocket League, Linda plays. So it's like they watch us, so we could be like, hey, why don't you go watch them? They're good content creators. Go check them out. So we're sending the boy audience over to the girls and the girls over to the boys. So it's like we're growing, but we're growing together. So I'd see no
Gotcha.
problem with it.
Mhm.
I just feel like it gives us a greater landscape for us to grow together as a family.
Okay, that's a great answer. One more thing about TCB Pink, I did see that they reached 100 followers on Twitter. What was that,
Yes.
yesterday?
Yes, yesterday I believe we hit. I remember I was at work and I got the notification. I looked up and I was thrilled. I mean, watching this grow so fast, watching the boys grow so fast, and now Pink just hit 100. It's crazy.
And
It's absolutely insane.
when was TCB Pink created?
I believe Pink was just created in September, if I'm not mistaken, the beginning of September, if not like toward the middle. So it's only been a short time. And right now it's Nursey and it's Linda. And we have two amazing content creators who know what they're doing. They
Absolutely.
are very well rounded. They're smart. They have a good head on both their shoulders. And I appreciate everything that my lights just went out. I appreciate everything that they do. But it's seeing the growth happen the way it's been happening has been absolutely insane, especially for Pink, just because of the short time that's been given. So it's just insane to me sometimes.
And I basically have a question here that I mean we don't have this prepared, but I feel like it's something I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Um, I understand right now we have content creators and they're solely based on Twitch. Do
Yes.
you plan on branching out to like, I mean, different platforms and picking up content creators from there?
So, like, you mean from YouTube and Facebook gaming and whatnot?
Yeah, basically, I mean, mostly YouTube, I guess you can say,
Oh
but
yeah.
like
Um,
as like video like content creators, or I mean, you could go as far as saying Facebook gaming as well.
I feel like right now in the place we are right now, I think we need to focus more on what's in front of us rather than trying to take more in because the more we try to take in without stabilizing what we have could lead to something bad. And I want to be at a level where I'm ready to start branching out into different avenues
Mhm.
such as YouTube or whatever the case may be. So will it happen? Yes, it will happen. Will it happen now? Honestly speaking, for me personally, I don't think it's going to happen now just because I'd like to be in a more stable place. I'd like to grow a little more. I'd like to grow with what we have and then branch off into others and then grow that and then grow everything at once.
Okay. Kind of talking more about the organization in general. Do you plan on forming teams within the organization,
Yes.
whether that be casual or competitive teams? And I mean, even go as far as saying enter tournaments with them and such?
Yes, absolutely. That is probably going to be what happens next year. I used to compete with Call of Duty, so that's always going to have a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, my two goals for next year, my two teams I would love to have is a Call of Duty team and a Rocket League team. Those are like my two goals for next year. So,
Yeah.
and any other games, I mean, we could see what happens. I mean, Rogue, we could hop into Valorant, whatever the case is. But all I know is right now, my main goal for next year is to pick up a Call of Duty team and a Rocket League team.
Awesome. Um, are there any events that you or TCB in general will be hosting or participating in the future?
Yes. First, we are hosting a 2v2 Rocket League tournament. We are basically stamming out all details this weekend. We're going to try to have it by the end of the year. If not, it'll be something to kick off the new year with, just because of the planning and whatnot. We don't just want to throw it in as just like, here's a tournament. That's it. We want to do it
Yeah.
right. We want to make sure for our very first one, it's something that you guys will like, wow, that was a good tournament. Like it wasn't just thrown in and like done wrong. I want to make sure it's done right. I want to make sure it's planned out right. I want to make sure the promotion's out there. I just want to make sure it's right. But if it happens by the end of the year, of course I will be happy. But if it kicks off the new year, then happy new year. Here's a 2v2 tournament.
Oh, did we lose him there
Throwing
for
a
Vic?
row company. Oh, are we good?
Uh,
You're
Are we
back.
good?
You're back. You're
kind of
back.
delayed, but yeah.
Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? I believe Pride is throwing a 4v4 road company tournament. I know I spoke with Bari about it, and we're what? Are we good?
You're really desynced.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Oh,
good. You're good. Your webcam just froze, and then you came back, and everything's desynced. But it's okay for audio listeners, especially. We understand what you're saying and stuff. It's just a little bit behind,
okay.
so you can continue.
So I believe Pride's throwing a tournament for Rogue. It's a 4v4, so we're looking into that. So definitely looking
Okay,
forward to playing in that.
awesome. So, I mean, what you basically or what you told me within these last two questions kind of sums up the next question. But is there anything specific that you would say is the next step for TCB? Such as, I mean, what are some other avenues you want to go down, or what do you have planned later down the road? If it's top secret, you don't gotta say it.
Yeah, of course. Um, Without revealing too much, so basically, like I said in the last question, the next thing I do want to do is have a team, whether it be Rocket League or for COD. Do we have other stuff planned? Absolutely. But like you said, top secret stuff, I don't want to reveal too much, but just know next year we're definitely coming at you guys. We're gonna come strong. It was a good year. I want to end it strong, but next year we definitely have a lot planned. We have a lot planned for you guys.
Awesome. Couple more questions here that I want to
Yeah.
ask you. So running a team's difficult. I mean, I I've seen it with you especially. Like, there's a lot of things that come at you, and you gotta just kind of be prepared to take control and get a hold of these problems that come up.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that help you keep motivated in those times?
Honestly, motivation is my team. My management team, I really wouldn't be here without my team, without the community. Um, Really, that's what gets me through it. With if we go through hard times, if I'm having an issue, I know I have a team behind me that I could rely on, reach out to. Like, listen, I need help. Like, we need to do something about this. I know I have a team that I'm able to reach out to, and the help is there. I don't have to throw this all on me. It doesn't have to be just me. I have a team. I have my loved ones, and those are the ones that really motivate me through my highest points and my lowest points. So
Awesome.
that's definitely the big motivation behind it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, just seeing you take control of the team and everything that you've been doing lately is, I mean, it motivates me to want to create more content and just
I
be
appreciate it.
bigger help and part of the
It's nice hearing that. It's nice hearing that. I hear it from a lot of people. Like, I get a couple messages. I have a couple people who reach out to me. They're like, "You're a motivation to me. Like, what you do is very like," and words like that, they hit different.
yeah.
It's not just something you go around telling people. It's not something you just walk up to a random person and say. So for me, hearing that I'm some kind of motivation, whether it's for streaming, whether it's for running an org, whether it's for playing COD, whatever the case is, that means a lot to me. So hearing that, I just want to say that means a lot to me, Tommy. So you're the homie.
Um, I got one last question for you,
Okay.
and then we'll end the segment here. Where do you see TCB in a year, 5 years, 10 years, later down the road? What do you see TCB becoming?
I want it to be more than an organization for gaming, and that was one of the goals off the rip. I don't want it just to be about gaming. I want it to be a clothing brand. I want it to be a lifestyle. We release merch and I was very happy with it, but I always want to do more. I always want more. That's one of my biggest things. I could have this, but I always want more. I want it I want it bigger. I want it to keep growing. I want to reach out like we mentioned earlier. I want to go into YouTube, I want to branch more out into TikTok and all these other outlets that help you grow. So where do I see the org by next year? Let's just go from there. Next year, I see it growing. I see our family becoming larger. I see the amazing community that we have keep growing because the community we already have. And like I said, I'm happy with what we have because you should always be happy with what's in front of you and not ask because there's a lot of people out there who want this, who want to be in this position. So I'm honestly blessed to have what we have. So I hope by next year we're growing and we keep growing and the word comes out. It's nice going into streams and seeing the TCB emotes being used in streams that I'm barely in. Like that's awesome. Hearing that, oh, I love your org. Like it's nice. I love the community. Like I love this. I love that. Like hearing that makes me want to do this more. It makes me want to work more. It just motivates me. So that's another motivation is hearing that. Wow, you know, your org is awesome. I want to join it. I love the community. I love everyone around. Like that's what really gets me going. So I guess to really answer your question, where do I see TCB? I see it growing and I see it being a bigger family than what it is now.
Awesome.
Great answer.
Yep, definitely. Um, Thank you so much for joining us, Seb, Pistola,
Oh my
Vera,
God. Thank
owner
you
of
guys for having
TCB
me.
again, the Chop Boys. Hopefully, we can get you back on here at a later date or something like
I'm
that. See
so
see
down
where
to
we
keep doing.
progress next year.
Yeah.
You
Bring
guys
you
are
back
growing.
on.
I have to be honest with you guys. I listen to your podcast on Spotify when I work, and I'll be honest with you guys. You guys are doing something special here, and I
Thank
hope
you.
you guys
Appreciate that.
keep. I hope you guys keep doing what you are doing. It makes me want to have a podcast, in all honesty, even though I know nothing about it. But just hearing you do what you guys do and what you guys love, it's nice. And like I said, I listen to your podcast. I tell Tommy all the time. I'm at work and I'm not doing anything, I have your podcast in my ear on Spotify because it just makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And same goes to you. You're making a name out of yourself. You're making a name out of TCB. Keep it up. We believe in you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And that's it for the esports section here. We're going to wrap it up here with Pistola, and we're going to move on to the streaming and technology news.
Before you head off, just tell everyone where we can find you.
Find me at Twitter, Pistola T1. You can find me on Twitch, also Pistola T1. You can find me on TikTok at Sebs Vera, Instagram Sebs Vera, and if you want to find all of us, the Chop Boys with the Z on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect. All right, that's awesome. I'll make sure that's in here for everyone.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Good meeting you.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
You too. All right, everybody. We're back with the streaming segment of G.E.S.T podcast. I hope you enjoyed that interview we had with Sabaniel, Pistola Vera.
Very
it was
good.
a great time.
Awesome
Great
to meet
time.
him.
Oh yeah. We're gonna move right on to streaming news where we're talking about Mizkif. He slammed the Twitch staff for DMCA issues after mocking his content. So while opening up Pokemon card packs during a November 29th broadcast, a member of Mizkif's chat named Aiden Wallace emerged and started joking about the odds of getting a rare card. This is what he said. We have a higher chance of getting content than you do of getting something rare. It's that low. And Mizkif saw this and he said, this is Twitch staff that is coming at me right now. And he's just like, how about you effing fix your website instead of telling me to get content? He said, maybe when I can actually play good music, I'll actually be able to do some fun stuff. Or go IRL stream and actually be able to walk across a store without having to worry about DMCA.
Yeah, it's a little weird for a Twitch engineer. This Wallace person is a broadcast solutions engineer at Twitch, and he has the symbol to correlate with that. So people see when he types in chat that he works for Twitch. So people know this. This isn't like there's no hiding it. Like everyone can see that he clearly is a Twitch employee. And typing in something like that in chat, trying to bait a streamer, it's not really a good idea with how tensions are with streamers in Twitch right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if this Aiden person's going to get any retribution or any kind of punishment or anything for this, because, I mean, it's not like he said anything toxic or really anything bad, but, like, you know, you're kind of picking at scabs, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, even Mizkif was just like, oh, I just shit on Twitch for no reason because this guy has nothing to do with the problems that are going on. I mean, hopefully in the future, Twitch can get this DMCA situation under control so that streamers such as Mizkif can actually enjoy listening to what they want to listen to and be able to do IRL streams and not worry about, you know, oh, here there's a store playing music. I'm walking by it, instant DMCA slap. And it's just like that can happen easily. I mean, there's two examples going on right now. Fortnite told some of its biggest streamers to mute a certain portion of the live event that happened because it played DMCA music and you would have got in trouble for it.
Yep.
And then there's Cyberpunk, which is adding a streamer mode, which gets rid of this DMCA music on like the car radio stations and just in the world in general. So you're able to play the game on stream and not worry about these DMCA problems.
I know I suck YouTube off like it's the best website to ever exist, but in all the issues that I've ever had with copyright claims or anything on my channel, it's if you fix them, which is very easy to do, there's two ways. And they have a new feature in beta, which is the second way. The first way is you have the option to mute that portion of the stream or of the video. You can just outright mute it, and then it'll remove the copyright strike off the video. So until you remove it, all the money that you have potentially made on this video will be going to the copyright claimant. But once you fix it, it goes back to you again. So YouTube's great in the sense that I can upload a video and let it process before I publish it, so I can fix any of these issues before I go live with the video. So let's say I do have copyright music that I didn't realize. YouTube will tell me about it, and it'll tell me the exact portion of the video, and I can just mute it or re-upload the video without that music. Now, they have a second feature, which is in beta now, which is it's muting the music only. So let's say I'm talking, playing a game, and I have copyright music playing. YouTube's AI will try its best to only mute the music while keeping my voice and the gameplay and stuff there. So once that gets to fruition, it's a little slow. It might take upwards of a day for YouTube to process that change to your video, or longer. But that's a great fix. Like, the fact that, oh, like, yeah, it didn't even affect my video that I had that there. I just clicked a button and they got rid of it for me. Yeah, it took a little while, but I didn't even do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's an amazing feature, and I feel like YouTube hopped on that so quickly that I don't know if Twitch is going to be able to do something similar at this point. I mean,
really
I hope they
that
can. Yeah, absolutely hope that they can.
It's,
I've been dodging the bullet so far by just playing music that I have a license to play, and it's not a huge problem for me at this moment. But I feel like I want to stream the new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and apparently there's portions in that game where I can easily get a DMCA just because, I mean, of the game in general.
See, that's not really an issue on YouTube, which is nice. Like, I've posted gameplay footage with music and stuff in it, and it never gets striked. I think, I don't know how YouTube handles it, and maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe my videos just haven't got striked because of luck. I mean, people can manually strike popular YouTubers. Like, oh, that's my content in this video, I'm striking it. And then YouTube will put a strike on it, and that's frustrating for content creators and stuff, but, you know, assuming it's a legit strike, then you can take care of it, or assuming it's not, you can appeal it and get it removed. So, again, there's, you know, the process is a little slow with COVID and stuff, but, you know, you can get all this stuff sorted out. But I've never had an issue posting any videos on YouTube, and you know, I'm smart. I just use Monster Cat official stuff, and I don't worry about it too much. So, you know, I have a license to play it, so I'm all good.
Yep, same here. I mean, DMCA is going to be an issue for some time, and I'm sure we'll talk about it week after week until something gets resolved, because, I mean, a lot of the streaming news right now revolves around the DMCA issues. So, I mean, hey, we could go on and talk about this Pokimane thing going on. If you guys want us to, let us know, and we can dedicate an entire section to it. But as of right now, it's something that, I mean, it goes
A
so
little,
far.
yeah, it's a little
And
crazy.
Pokemon fired back and said all this stuff. So, I mean, if you guys want us to try and explain it, we could do that. Let us know. Otherwise, we're going to leave that for everybody else.
Yeah, so we're gonna hop into our tech news here. So this is some pretty juicy stuff. We got a couple of things here. Former Intel engineer explains why Apple has switched from Intel x86 processors to ARM-based processors. So hopefully I don't butcher his French name too badly. Francois Piednol, well, that's what we're going with. I'll just call him Francois.
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Spent 20 years working at Intel as both a principal engineer and a performance architect. Francois believes that Apple opted to switch to ARM-based processing because of Intel's Skylake processor. So I believe Skylake was the 6000 series, so like 6700K, etc. That was 5 years ago. So the quality assurance for Skylake chips was apparently terrible, with Francois, who was still at Intel during the Skylake days, explaining the quality assurance of Skylake was more than a problem, it was abnormally bad. We were getting away with too much citing for little things inside Skylake. Basically, our buddies at Apple became the #1 filer of problems in the architecture. And that went really, really bad. When your customer starts finding it almost as much bugs as you found yourself, you're not leading into the right place. Francois believes that Apple's decision to go with ARM was due to Intel's lacking of progress and negative progression towards its new CPU lineups. So, you know, it would take years for Apple to make this full swap to ARM, and I think, based off what Francois said, in 2015, Apple has decided Intel's on a downhill spiral right now. We are going to swap to a newer processing architecture that we think is going to be better for our company overall. And with how well, I mean, we talked about it last week, how well their ARM-based processors are going now and their new MacBooks and stuff, it's phenomenal. It's a really good decision that they've made. They are outperforming their Intel counterparts in their older MacBooks, so yeah, that's it's really good news to see this kind of progression. And I'm not really an Apple guy, but yeah, it's still good to see any kind of competition in the CPU industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Hopefully, Intel. Um, I guess Intel addresses this and fixes their problems moving forward. And
they
I don't know.
recently stated that, well, they are still kind of stuck on 14 nanometer, and they're having struggles with 7 nanometer processors. They're still dedicating a lot of time to 5 nanometer and even 3 nanometer processors. So they might end up skipping 7 if they're having more luck with 5. And of course, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know the full in-depth details of how this architecture goes, but sometimes if their plans aren't going so well, it might be better to just skip and try and focus on something else because they've been stuck at
Yeah.
14. Like, we've all seen the jokes and the memes, 14 nanometer plus a billion type thing, right? And now AMD's at 7 and they're getting even lower. So, yeah, it's not a great time to be big on Intel stock, I don't think.
Moving on, we got the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060 Ti review.
Yeah,
Impressive performance.
For $399. So the 360 Ti, priced at $399, provides a fantastic value for consumers that want to game at 1440p/1080p at high frame rates without breaking the bank. It outperforms a 2080 Super, but only barely. 4K gaming is still not something a 60 series card can hit reliably. So if you're looking for 4K gaming, the 3060 Ti rather is not the card for you. Definitely something more like the 3080, 3090 for 4K. 3070 is a really good high frame rate 1440p card, but 4K, even still for that, I mean, yeah, you can do it, but you're not getting the best experience you can get. And this is an interesting card. I mean, the stock is non-existent still, unfortunately, but I think for $400, a card that outperforms a 2080 Super, that's going to be probably their most popular card.
I was actually on Best Buy today because they restocked the 3060, and I'm not gonna lie, I tried to get one. I don't know what I was gonna do with it. I don't know if I was gonna use it myself or just sell it to a friend who's also looking for one. But I was on the Best Buy website while they were doing constant restocks of the 3060, and I almost got it in the cart, but it just still wasn't working for me.
Mm.
And I was so busy at the time, I couldn't focus on it any longer than I was. But yeah, they were available today for some time. So I actually didn't even know the 3060 existed. I thought it was 70, 80, 90.
Well, they've had a 2060 card for a while. The issue with the 3060 is they didn't give anyone, including reviewers, any time at all. They just announced the card and then put it up on the store the next day. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's a
That
bit of a
went right
surprise.
past me.
Yeah, most people didn't even catch it, and I wonder if that was a deliberate move by Nvidia to help alleviate some of their complaints against them right now. And there's been a lot of issues with the bots and stuff, but to be real, Nvidia has actually had the most demand for GPUs they've ever had. So don't think that there's like thousands and thousands of people sitting on hundreds of cards. That's just not the reality. Like there are people that have hoarded cards, yeah, but it's not 100% of the stock, like and there's also articles going around that Nvidia has sold $150 million worth of GPUs to crypto miners, the new 30 series going to crypto miners. Well, if you look at the reality, they've made like $1.5 billion in revenue this year, so that's a drop in the water for crypto miners. So again, that's only a small percentage of total people purchasing it. The majority of people purchasing these cards are using them for gaming. It's just there's so many people looking to purchase them. And I don't have this in the notes, but AMD, the news has came out that their stock issues are due to the fact that 80% of their GPU infrastructure is going towards the new consoles. So that's only 20% towards PCs. That's a very small amount, and they're going to have a really hard time ramping production up enough to get the demand.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, just think how many consoles there are, right? And AMD has to supply both Xbox and PS5.
And I mean, that's a whole nother story. The stock for Xboxes and PS5s are still
non-existent.
non-existent. I watched a video yesterday of someone who was documenting like him trying to get a PS5 at the mall during Black Friday, and there was like honestly at least 100 people lined up outside this door. The second it unlocked, everybody went to the GameStop. This GameStop had 2 PS5s and 4 Xbox Series X's, and hundreds of people were lined up until these people walked out of the store, and then they got escorted by security guards to their cars
Wow.
with these systems. That's how bad people want these now, that they're getting escorted out by security guards. And it's just like, I mean, I got her right here, you know? Don't got to worry about it.
Did you see the story?
Xbox is right behind her.
Did you see the story of the guy who posted on Twitter like a bunch of PS5s? He must have had 50 or 60 or something stacked up. And someone had dug through his Twitter profile and probably looked through his LinkedIn type thing and everything too. And they doxed him publicly. And then someone posted a photo of a gun and said that they were going to go to his house. And they went to his place and robbed him and took some PS5s. At gunpoint, yeah, no joke.
That's insane. I actually did not know that.
Yeah, happened. That's a little crazy.
I know the picture though.
Yeah, the picture was nuts, and people were freaking out over it. So, I mean, doxing's bad, and armed robbery is even worse. But you know, scalping is pretty bad too.
Scalping's worse than all two.
Both combined. So our last article of today here, I like how I said that just before you were about to say it. Apple to pay $113 million over deliberately slowing down iPhones. So this has been a court case for years now. They've already paid upwards of $500 million in the past. I think this is going to be the last bit that they have to pay for this lawsuit. They are set to pay $113 million in a settlement to 34 states over its decision to slow down older iPhones. Apple is not transparent about the battery problems in older iPhone models that led to unexpected shutdowns. Apple did not disclose this information to customers. Instead, they pushed firmware updates that impacted the performance of older iPhones. So if you have an older iPhone, I believe iPhone 7 or older, they pushed out firmware updates that deliberately slowed down the performance of the phone to increase the battery life. The reality is the batteries were not able to maintain enough voltage at high usages, so the battery would actually stop functioning properly and cause the phone to shut down. So Apple's fix, instead of sending out new batteries that work properly, was to just, we'll just slow the phone down a little. That way they can't make the battery crash. It's so genius. Anyways, that ended up costing them well over $500 million now. And at the time in 2017, they lowered battery replacement costs from the $80 to $30. And they offered free support for a period of time. But this is not a good thing for Apple, especially for their appearance. And I understand Apple is a perfectionist company. That's why they swapped off Intel, because they just didn't want to have that risk, right? And now it's coming to bite them back. And I understand that, they don't want this bad publicity, our batteries aren't working right, like that makes us look really bad. So let's try and keep it under wraps. Let's just make a firmware update and hopefully no one will notice, but people did notice. So yeah. And I know you're an iPhone guy, right? So did you ever have this happen to you?
Oh, I have noticed this happening like every time I get an iPhone. I feel like after 1 year they do something to make my iPhone go slower. Even, I mean, I'm using an iPhone 11 right now, and since the iPhone 12 was even announced or came out, I'm having problems with it to the point where I start typing and nothing pops up, and then all of a sudden it all pops up at once. Something like that's never happened to me before, and all of a sudden it happens every day. I just feel like that's one small thing, but my iPhone, I think they're still doing it.
I just bought a Pixel 5, which is a really sweet phone. I'm really happy with it. The battery life is phenomenal. Like on my old Razr phone too, I would go to work and I'd come home and my battery would be at like 20%. Now I come home from work and my battery's at like 75%. Like if you tried, you could get 2 days out of the battery, like for sure. I don't know if your iPhone's like that, but I'm amazed at how well this is lasting.
I have a problem where I keep my phone screen on basically until I
Yeah.
turn it off, and most of the time I'll be like working or whatever for a half hour to an hour and look down and my phone screen has just been on the entire time. So my battery hasn't been good as of lately because I just drain it myself. Usually it'll last me until the end of the day, no problem. But I just throw it on the charger when I go to bed, and then I'm ready for the next day. You know.
I got this. I don't know how well it'll show on the camera, but I got this bad boy here. My wireless charger. This thing is
Yeah.
like killer, man. It's just just throw it on it and bada bing bada boom. It just starts charging up and
Good to go.
we're good to go. Yeah, I mean it really is just that easy. And I mean like it's at 90. No, it's at 100% now. It's full. It has fast charge on the wireless charger. So in like I think that was 30 minutes, it got from 70 to 100, which isn't crazy fast. But again, it's
Mhm.
wireless and uh, past I think 80% is when the fast charging stops, so it doesn't overheat the battery and help save life. But yeah, that was a great podcast. Really had a good time there.
Absolutely. Next week we got a Pokemon card opener. He's known as the Pokemon Master. We're going to be interviewing him about the latest Pokemon card opening phenomenon, I guess you could say. And that's going to be a great stream in its own. I might even open up a couple packs on stream for those video watchers. So be ready for next week where we bring on the Chief Joe as our next guest on the Guest podcast. And we're going to be able to dive deeper into the world of Pokemon trading cards. And it's going to be a great time.
Yeah,
If you look behind me right now, I mean, I got some top loaders, I got penny sleeves, and I got the elite trainer box for the newest card set that came out for Pokemon. So I'm gonna be opening that up tomorrow on stream.
what's your fiance think of this?
She's not really about it, to be honest with you. But I'm not spending large amounts of money yet.
Just
Um,
hundreds.
for example, that box behind me, I ended up paying $0. If you want to know how, ask me. I'll tell you. But besides that, I probably only spent like $50 or $60 on Pokemon cards, so nothing too crazy.
I mean, man,
Yeah,
like no one monitors my finances. Thank God, because if they did, they'd be like $400 on a Stream Deck. What an idiot! Oh, lightning
Yeah.
deal on a new Sennheiser headset that you didn't need. Idiot, and a bunch of other stuff that I just don't need. But it's Christmas time coming up, and not really much good seeing
Treat
the money.
yourself.
Not really much good seeing the money sit in the bank when there's stuff I want to have. So might as well spend it and get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, that was a great podcast. Appreciate everyone for stopping in and listening. Make sure to drop a like on the YouTube video. Make sure to shout us out to your friends, share it on Twitter. Anything you want to do, anything to help us out with support, much appreciated.
Follow the Guest Podcast on Twitter at the Guest Podcast. We appreciate it. We thank you for your support, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Bye bye.